If you are listening to this right now, understand this clearly from the first second. You are not average. You were never meant to blend in. And the fact that you are still breathing while carrying the weight you carry already proves there is something unbreakable inside you. Because out of billions of people, only a few are chosen to feel this fire, this pressure, this hunger that never lets you sleep comfortably. And most people will never understand it because they live their lives avoiding pain, while you were built to walk straight through it. And the moment you accept that your struggle is not a curse, but a signal that you are being forged for something greater, everything changes. Because strength is not born in comfort. It is born when you are tired, misunderstood, doubted, hated, and still show up, still push, still refuse to quit. And that is why people talk about you, judge you, mock you, because deep down they are terrified of what happens if you actually win, because your success would expose their excuses. And that is why you must keep going, even when nobody claps, even when nobody checks on you, even when the chapter is lonely. Because the hardest seasons of life are not a 90-second movie montage. They are years of silent suffering where nothing seems to move. But champions understand something others don't. You don't need to win fast. You just need to outlast. Because many battles in life are not about being stronger, faster, or louder. They're about surviving longer than your doubt, your fear, your pain. And if you can last, if you can stay standing when everything inside you is screaming to stop, you will break what once looked unbeatable. Just like every so-called invincible force in history eventually fell to someone who refused to quit. And that is why ownership matters, because the day you stop blaming your parents, your past, your boss, your circumstances, and look in the mirror and say, if I fail, it is on me. And if I win, it will also be because of me. You take back control. And when you take back control, excuses lose their seat in your life because you kick them out and keep driving, knowing that nobody is coming to save you. Nobody is responsible for your future except you. And that realization hurts, but it also frees you, because now every rep, every early morning, every late night, every sacrifice has meaning, and you stop asking if it's easy or fair and start asking only one question: what is required? Because winners don't negotiate with discomfort. They pay the price, fully, upfront, without complaint, knowing that success has a cost and it always demands loneliness, discipline, and suffering before it gives rewards. And that is why most people never make it, because they want praise without sacrifice, results without pain, victory without war. But you are different, because you are willing to suffer in silence, to work when nobody is watching, to show up when you are tired, sick, unmotivated, and uncomfortable. Because you are not driven by mood, you are driven by purpose. And purpose doesn't care how you feel, it only cares that you act. And that is why you must learn to use everything, your anger, your sadness, your rejection, your failures, as fuel. Because energy is energy, and what separates the weak from the strong is not what they feel, but how they use it. And while others complain, you build. While others sleep, you prepare. While others look for shortcuts, you master fundamentals, understanding that intensity matters more than consistency alone, because showing up casually will never beat someone who shows up with hunger, with obsession, with a mindset that says nobody will outwork me, nobody will outlast me, nobody will take what I am willing to bleed for. And yes, the road will be lonely. Yes, people will leave when you arrive. Yes, you will be misunderstood. But remember this, a man is rewarded in public for what he does in private, and legacy is not built by being liked. It is built by being relentless, by thinking beyond yourself, beyond comfort, beyond today, toward the future where your name, your work, your discipline becomes proof that it was worth it. And if at any point you feel like quitting, remember this, failure is not falling down. Failure is staying down. Because every winner has failed, often more times than the loser ever tried. And the only difference is that the winner stood back up, again and again, until the world had no choice but to recognize them. So if this message is hitting you, If something inside you is waking up, don't ignore it, don't delay it, don't talk yourself out of it, because this is your life, and you don't get a second one to redo it. So stand up, take control, do the work, embrace the pain, and become the version of yourself that your excuses are afraid of. And before this video ends, if this message gave you even one moment of clarity or fire, make sure you like this video so more people who need this hear it. Subscribe to the channel because this channel is for builders, not spectators. And now I want to hear from you in the comments. What is the one excuse you are cutting out of your life starting today? And what goal are you committing to chase no matter how hard it gets? Write it down, make it real. And remember, if you didn't create the sun, you can't stop it. And now that you understand this is not about motivation, but about identity, everything becomes clearer because motivation fades, but identity commands action. And when you decide who you are, your behavior follows automatically. So if you still find yourself hesitating, procrastinating, or negotiating with weakness, it's not because you lack information, it's because you haven't drawn a hard line yet. And the truth most people avoid is that progress begins the moment excuses are no longer allowed to speak. Because every time you say, "I'll start tomorrow," you are training your brain to betray you. And betrayal repeated enough times becomes a habit, and habits become destiny. Which is why discipline must replace emotion, because emotion asks how you feel, but discipline asks who you are. And once you decide that quitting is no longer an option, your mind will start finding ways instead of exits, because pressure doesn't destroy strong people, it reveals them. And every difficult moment you face is asking you one question: are you going to rise to the standard you claim or collapse into the comfort you crave? Because comfort is seductive. It whispers lies. It tells you that rest is earned before the work is done, that you deserve a break before you deserve results. But the harsh reality is that nobody remembers potential, nobody respects intention, and nobody rewards effort that stops halfway. They only respect execution, and execution requires sacrifice, repetition, and suffering done willingly. Which is why the strongest people on earth are not loud, they are consistent in private and relentless in silence. And while the world scrolls, distracts itself, and numbs the pain with entertainment, you must learn to sit with discomfort and use it as a sharpening stone. Because growth is painful, transformation is lonely, and greatness demands separation from average thinking, average habits, and average people. And yes, people will say you've changed, but what they really mean is that you no longer tolerate what once kept you stuck, because elevation requires elimination, and to rise, you must cut off distractions, excuses, fake support, and the version of yourself that wants comfort more than progress, because nobody accidentally becomes disciplined, nobody stumbles into excellence, and nobody drifts into purpose. It is a conscious decision made every single day, especially on the days you feel empty, tired, and unmotivated, because those are the days that build mental armor. And understand this clearly. Nobody is coming to clap for you in the early stages. Nobody is impressed by effort before results, and nobody will believe in you until it's obvious. So stop waiting for validation and start becoming undeniable. Because the world doesn't reward those who ask for permission, it rewards those who show proof, and proof is built through action repeated longer than doubt can survive. And this is where most people fail, because they want fast wins, viral moments, instant recognition, but real domination is built slowly, painfully, and privately, through thousands of unseen reps, early mornings, late nights, and decisions that hurt now but pay forever. And if you feel alone, that's not a sign you're lost, it's a sign you're ahead, because leaders walk paths before others understand them. And if you are willing to endure being misunderstood today, you earn being respected tomorrow, but only if you keep going. Because stopping guarantees nothing changes, but persistence guarantees growth, and growth guarantees options, and options guarantee freedom, and freedom is the real goal. Not money, not fame, but control over your time, your mind, and your future. And that control only comes to those who refuse to surrender to weakness, excuses, or fear. So if you are still listening, if your heart is still beating faster, if something inside you is telling you that this is your moment to step up, then do not let this be just another video you watched and forgot. Make it a turning point. And if this continuation pushed you harder, like this video right now. Subscribe, because this channel is for builders, not for spectators. And now tell me in the comments, what discipline are you committing to master in the next 30 days? And what distraction are you cutting off starting today? Write it down. Make yourself accountable, because the moment you decide to stop running from your potential is the moment your life finally starts moving forward. And now we go deeper, because this is the part nobody